pornography tends to shape who we are more so than the teachings of Christ. And pornography disciples us by shaping our desires, our identity, and our vision. But when we're being discipled by Christ, our sexuality now becomes a gift that we're offering in love and not simply something to be consumed. But marriage itself doesn't eradicate our mindset of being discipled by pornography. We bring that same pornography mindset into the marriage bed. The answer to being discipled by pornography is Christ. He's the only one who can redeem that mindset and bring it into its rightful place. It turns out most men have been discipled by pornography more so than Christ himself. This is not necessarily an intentional thing, but it's the reality. It's the water we swim in all the same. When we consider the internet, our TV shows and movies and commercials, they tend to shape our understanding of who we are as sexual beings more so than Christ himself. To consider who we're primarily being discipled by is to consider who is primarily shaping and forming our sense of self, our identity, our way of being in the world. And when it comes to sexuality, pornography tends to shape who we are more so than the teachings of Christ. Being discipled by pornography doesn't mean that we're addicted to porn per se. We might be the virgin who waited to marriage to have sex and can still be discipled by pornography. We can be the faithful husband who's never had sex outside of his marriage and can still be discipled by pornography. Where being discipled by pornography is about how it shapes our heart attitudes, our mindsets, our way of being as we approach sex, not so much whether we're engaging in viewing porn or not. And pornography disciples us by shaping our desires, our identity, and our vision. What do we desire sexually? When our desires are more about what we consume, we're always chasing that buzz, we're always chasing a sense of novelty, then that may be that discipleship of pornography coming out. We're not able to simply drink deeply of joy and beauty, but always chasing that next thing, consuming that next thing that might be indicative that we've been a disciple of pornography. When it comes to identity, when we see ourselves more as performers rather than lovers, when we think of sexual acts and behaviors, we're thinking about what looks good on screen, as it were. And so is this picture perfect? Is this award worthy, our performance, rather than simply being able to express the overflow of our love for each other? And when it comes to vision, pornography then fragments our vision, where we see each other mostly as body parts rather than whole individuals. And so we may idolize people who have the idealistic sexual body, but we no longer see them as a whole person. And even with ourselves, if we don't have that ideal body, we may then despise our body. We may look down on our body where we consider ourselves dirty or junk if we don't measure up to that sense of ideal of sexual aesthetics. As with all of these, our desire to look good or be attracted to others who look good as well is not so much the problem, but it is what is a heart behind our looking? What is a heart behind our gazing? And so being attracted to someone and wanting to be attracted to ourselves is fine, but is that done in a way that makes each other, our bodies, an idol? Or can we see each other as icons that are ultimately pointing back to God's goodness and beauty? And the same is true when it comes to our identity and desires. There's nothing wrong with wanting to perform well sexually, but when that becomes overextended, when we make an idol of our performing, that we're no longer able to express love, then as Paul says, we're like clanging cymbals that we make a lot of noise. We may have a lot of fanfare, but at the end is worthless. It's meaningless if we're not able to express ourselves in true love. And our desire for novelty, there's a sense in which God is a creative God. And so we can pursue a creative variety, but what is the heart behind that? Is that pursuing God's truth and beauty in our sense of desire, our curiosity, or is it simply chasing that next buzz, always chasing that next thing that we don't learn how to be content, satisfied with what we have, even as we're exploring more, where there's almost this desperation of not being settled, always pursuing that next thing. And so it comes down to heart attitudes. When we're being discipled by pornography, then we're more in the heart space of consuming and being fragmented, performing or hiding at least our true selves. There may be a sense where we are exposing our bodies, but our true heart is still hiding. There's fig leaves even in that performance that we can't be vulnerable and show our true selves in our sexual expressions. But when we're being discipled by Christ, there's a sense of revealing and integration and wholeness that comes, that we're able to see the fullness of who each other are and reveal the fullness of who we are, even through our sexual expressions. And so our bodies, our sexuality now becomes a gift that we're offering in love and not simply something to be consumed. The answer to being discipled by pornography is Christ. He's the only one who can redeem that mindset and bring it into its rightful place. Sometimes we think that getting married is the answer, and marriage can be a piece of that puzzle, but marriage itself doesn't eradicate our mindset of being discipled by pornography. That I've worked with several young guys who thought, aware that they've been discipled by pornography and wanting to change that, not wanting to stay there, and thinking once I get married, then all my problems will be gone. Now I won't have that heart of a lust and consuming others, that once I get married, then I can freely express myself with my wife. But the problem is that we bring that same pornography mindset into the marriage bed. That marriage now brings the right context for our sexual expressions, but our heart is still corrupted by pornography, and that now we're approaching our wife in the marriage bed from a sense of fragmentation and consuming, rather than offering, enjoying, and revealing the truth, the beauty, the goodness that God has for us. And so we might love our wife deeply, but still treat her essentially like a porn object when our mindset has not shifted, when we're not intentional about our sexual formation and are still maintaining this pornographic mindset, heart attitude, that even when we love our wife deeply, we're still treating her like an object in porn, something to be consumed, rather than a mystery, our own heart and soul to be enjoyed in its own right, and that ultimately points us back to God himself. And so who is shaping your sexuality? To be discipled by Christ doesn't mean we have to deny or repress who we are as sexual beings. We don't have to repress our desires and our curiosities and our fantasies, but they do need to be redeemed and submitted to the lordship of Christ, so that they are shaped by his imagination, his desires for us, to bring them into a higher order of being, of expressing our sexuality, and not just chasing what we can consume for our own selfish interest. But we don't have to remain disciples of pornography. We can let Christ shape our sexuality to become whole and holy and alive for him. If this resonates with you, then like and subscribe and share with other men who might be wrestling with their sexuality as well. And then check out this next video on what the church has forgot about Eros. Check that out here.